Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to my countdown to my 50th birthday series. For those of you who are following along with rapt attention, which is, probably all of two of you. I've said this before, I don't expect a lot of people to be that interested in me and my life and stuff, and this is me doing this mostly for myself. But if you're here and you're enjoying it, like, subscribe, comment, talk to me. But let's get into it. So the next year, I'm now 42. When I turned 42, I'm a nerd and really like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And so, 42, I became the answer to the life, the universe, and everything for a year. And for my 42nd birthday, Dave and I went to Las Vegas to celebrate. Because, why do it at 40 when you can do it at 42? Because it's 42. So yeah, we went to Vegas. Oh yes, I got tickets to see Donnie and Marie in Vegas that year. Which I know sounds extremely nerdy, but I grew up in the 70s, and I had a huge crush on Donny Osmond as a kid, and so I really wanted to go. Dave did. This was hilarious because Dave was like, I don't want to go see Donny and Marie. He was like all, poo-poo about it. I was like, well, then you don't have to go. The tickets were not cheap. I think they were like $150 or something. So it's like, I'll go by myself. That's fine. You go gamble, because he liked his craps tables and stuff, and so that was the plan. He was gonna go play craps while I went to the Donnie and Marie show. And at the last minute, he decided he wanted to come with me, but the last minute tickets were marked up to like $300 or something, and so ultimately he decided not to. It was kind of interesting because I was literally the only single person in the audience. I think everyone else there was couples, which was a little bizarre, but I still had a good time. It was so fun to see them again. They basically had like a recreation of their TV show in Vegas on stage. They both looked really great for their age. I think they're just about a decade older than me. Maybe slightly more than that, but just about 10 years older than I am. And so yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So that made my day. And then on my actual, because I think the tickets I got were for a day or two before my birthday, or day. We were there for a whole week. I know on my birthday we went out for a really fancy steak dinner, and the restaurant actually got me a really fancy dessert. I think that was for free, and I think I got free drinks as well for my birthday. It was a lot of fun. It was a good birthday, good week in Vegas. I don't remember. I think we may have also gone to see, because I know we've seen the Blue Man Group out there, and I know we've seen Penn and Teller out there. I don't remember if we did one of those as well for that trip, because Dave and I went to Vegas a few times. I know Donnie and Marie was definitely that trip, and I don't know if we did anything else. We also had a little tapas place because we always stayed at the Wynn and Encore hotels, and there's a little tapas place there that we would go to, and we actually became almost regulars for whenever we were out there. We'd always go there to the point where they'd recognize us and, hey, how you doing? So anyway, so I started off 42. That was a good year. It started off really good. So that was that was in 2013, at very end of 2013, and then the rest of my 42 was in 2014. And I, at the end of it was sometime end of 2013, early 2014 is when I started my gaming channel, and so I stopped posting gaming videos on this YouTube channel. So Kleineganz Games, or Kleineganz, I think that was the name. It was Kleineganz. It's still up. The videos are still there. As I mentioned in the last video, I just kind of ignored it, and I don't upload anymore. I don't record anymore. I just kind of lost interest in doing it. I was getting almost no views at all. I mean, when I was still posting them on this channel, I was still getting decent views, especially the World of Warcraft dungeon run-throughs I was doing. But once I moved everything over to and started posting everything on my channel, I got like nothing. I didn't have the audience, and I wasn't building the audience, and I just kind of lost interest in doing all of that, and so I just kind of stopped posting. So, you know, I have the channel for if I ever want to post again. We'll see. No guarantees on that one. But the interesting thing of what really happened in 2014 was Intel was starting to do some massive layoffs with the company, and they also offered voluntary severance to anyone who, like, they usually do this where they offer voluntary severance for people based off of, like, if they've been with the company for a long time, that kind of thing. And so anyone who wanted the voluntary severance could take it, and then they did massive layoffs after that for, you know, involuntary severance. And Dave decided, because the package was really good, I think he ended up with like a year of health insurance, and it was a pretty decent payout, and there were a number of reasons where it made sense for him, and he was very dissatisfied with where he was at with his career and with his job and everything, and he had been thinking about going back to get his master's in a different field, and so he was like, I'm gonna take it. And I was like, all right, if this is what you want, if this will make you, you know, less miserable, because he was miserable at his job at that point. He was complaining about it all the time. He wasn't getting the promotions he thought he deserved. He wasn't getting the advancement in his career that he thought he deserved. He'd been there for a long time. I mean, with that particular team and group and everything. And that's one of the reasons he decided he wanted to go get a master's and stuff. And so it was around April, I think, when the severance happened. And then he, you know, applied to, we have a university here in Colorado, State University here in Fort Collins. And so he applied there and got into their, financial risk management program in the business college of business. But that didn't start until September. So between April and September was the first time that he hadn't worked in a long time. And he was working on his, he had a software program that he was developing that was supposed to help with predicting, kind of predicting, but kind of helping with investments and with, it was risk management related with how to, I don't know. I used to be able to explain it better, but it's dead in the water at this point, so it doesn't really matter. But during that time, that he kind of focused his energies on working on developing that until his classes started in the fall. And he decided he wanted to be a full-time student and finish a 2-year program in 1 year, which he did. And he got straight A's, and he got a fellowship, and he was awarded all these grants and fellowships and all sorts of stuff. So I would say when he was in that program, it was probably the happiest I've ever seen him. He was getting the accolades that he desperately craved. He was getting, the grades, and his professors loved him, and he was making connections in the financial industry. Goldman Sachs reached out and had some interest in his software. So this was like a golden period for him in 2014. And he was riding this really high wave of just euphoria. His mental health was better, or at least appeared better at the time. And it just, so 2014 was a really great year for the two of us, for him in general. I was really happy with where he was at. I was doing my best with my consulting agency. I got my Adobe expert certification. I became an Adobe certified expert in Adobe Analytics that year, as well, and that promised me to be able to get a foot in the door with certain clients, especially in the Fortune 500, that would have passed me otherwise because I wasn't a certified expert. And so there were it was 2014 overall was a great year. And one of the other things, just on a fun note, that year is I also started playing Dragon Age. I've been a big fan of Felicia Day for a long time. I loved watching The Guild, and she did this little mini web series based on Dragon Age. I think in the realm of between Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. It was built in that kind of world that she did. And I don't remember if she did it independently and then BioWare picked up on it, or if she did it in conjunction with BioWare. I forget the details, but she was just in love with this game and spoke highly of it in her vlogs and everything. And so when Electronic Arts was giving away the original game, the one from 2009, for free, because Dragon Age Inquisition was coming out, so they were doing a free giveaway of the first game. I was like, well, it's a free game. Let's try this thing. Admittedly, at that point, it was a bit on the dated side, but the lore in this game, it had a really rich lore, and you do a lot of reading as you're playing through the game, because you're reading all these lore books as you're coming across stuff. And the characters were really well done, and they had like Claudia Black voiced one of the characters, Morrigan. She was from Farscape, the actress in Farscape who played Aaron's son, and the actress. And I'm so bad at remembering names, but she played Captain Janeway in Star Trek DS9, and she also played, I think, Red in Orange is the New Black, and so that actress, she's an amazing actor. She voiced a character in the game as well, and so they had all this. Steve Valentine did Alistair, so they had all this amazing voice talent in this game, and just this really interesting story. And every time you make a major decision in the game, it affects what happens in the game. It's sort of almost like a choose your own adventure, so depending on the choice you make, changes the outcome of certain events in the game. And what's even crazier is that those same choices will affect outcomes in the subsequent games in the series as well, and that blew my mind. On top of that, the ability to romance your companions also kind of got me. I was like, ooh, we can have sexy times in the game. This is good. This is interesting. I like this. And all of that combined sparked in me the idea of stories, and I was like, ooh, what if I could do this? They had a lot of different scenarios that you could play out, but there were other scenarios that I would have liked to have played out that I couldn't, because they could only do so much in the game. And so I was like, ooh, I want to write a story based off of this idea. And that's so it was very, very late 2014 when I actually wrote my first fan fiction story. It was doing a threesome romance between my character and two of the companions, because I would have liked to have seen a polyamory option in the game, and they didn't. So I was like, I'm gonna write this, and that was like the first fiction story I ever wrote. And I, from there on out, just became highly addicted to writing, and I'll talk more about that in my next video, because that 2015 was kind of like the hallmark year where I really started getting into it. But yeah, so that was me at 42 in 2014, and I hope you enjoyed those stories. Until the next video, until tomorrow, take care.